How you doing, everyone? Thank you for joining us for this third episode of Love, Lessons in Marriage. And boy, do we have a good one for you this weekend. We have an amazing couple who's been together for 42 years, Ruben and Marta Rios.
Okay. Hi, Marta. Hi, Ruben.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us on this. Yeah, nice to talk about your 42 years of marriage. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now, I want to dive right in because you guys' love story is amazing. And I want to tell that story. And so just, help me out here. But let me get this correct. You guys have known each other. Get this, everyone. You've known each other since you were 5 years old.
Correct.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
I can't even remember myself when I was 5 years old. Wow. And so you grew up going to the same church. It was a Spanish church down in the Logan area. But you guys are 5 years old going to church together. And Ruben, you said on Saturday nights, you'd often have socials after church and there'd be like a movie and popcorn, and you used to chase her around.
Yes, I did.
Chasing around as a kid. And all of these years later, you're still running with her, huh?
Here we are. She's running away from me. I'm running towards her.
Wow. So watch your 5-year-olds at those church socials. You don't know what boys might be chasing.
That's right.
That's right. Yes, sir. That's correct.
And so from there, not only did you go to church together, but eventually you started going to school together.
Mhm.
And you're going to school together, a private school, San Diego Academy, a Christian school.
Mhm.
And you were just friends. And in fact, you were great friends. You guys laughed a lot. You're both funny. You just got along. And I think you said that you would even talk to each other about your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. we did.
Right.
So she had you in the friend zone out of the gate, huh? She just
Right. She sure did.
Okay.
We're friends.
And then you had a little bit of puppy love in the 7th grade on a trip to Disneyland. And
Yes.
for about 2 days, the magic of Disney got into you. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think it did. Well, yeah, because once we left, it was the magic was gone.
Oh my God. Oh man.
I still have the Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah, I did. That's
He
right.
bought me a Winnie the Pooh
In '79.
and I put
Yeah.
it on there
She still has
and
it.
I still have it. I said I should throw it. And I go, you know what? No, it's looking at me and looks like Ruben.
Oh, wait a second. Wow. Bought her Winnie the Pooh in 7th grade. She's still holding on to it. She looks at it and she thinks of you.
Mhm.
That's what's up. So that was 7th grade. You had your little puppy love 2-day romance at Disney, and then that was it. But then suddenly things got real in the 9th grade. And so Marta, you lived close to school and you used to jog. And
Yeah.
one day, the way it got real, Ruben saw you jogging.
Mhm.
So you must have been a sight to behold jogging by. And so you stopped her and you asked her out.
Mhm.
And you asked her to go out with you. And she said,
I don't think so. Are you kidding me?
That's her favorite. That's your favorite
kidding
saying, right?
me?
Are you kidding me?
wow. So the love
And I
story-
ran away.
You kept it running. You kept it moving. So the love story is off to a screeching halt with the no.
Yes.
You said because you thought he was crazy. Like, you're crazy. I can't. Right.
We're brothers.
Yeah.
So the friendship continued and you were stuck in the friend zone again. So
Yeah.
Yes.
okay, but you stayed persistent, and in the 10th grade, you asked her out again. You said, let's go see a movie or something. And that time you gave it a try, right?
Correct.
Yep.
What
That was it. I
what-
said, okay, let's go.
Okay, what made you give him a try?
What made you say a lot of good things about me?
I don't know, actually. I just like, well, why not? Let's go to the movies. He said he'll pick me up in his car. And at that time, oh, a car, we have a car, let's go. Ooh. And so I said, let's try it.
Okay.
Let's see where it goes.
What were you driving back then?
I was driving a Datsun B210. I bet you don't know what that is.
Yeah, I do. My parents had one.
Really?
Yes.
I think it's Nissan now. It's Datsun, now it's Nissan. Yeah, but that's what I was driving. I
Our
remember.
little red one.
Yeah.
A brand new one, actually. It
Yeah.
was new. It was your dad's.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And,
Mm.
and then my parents were so strict and they let me go out with him.
Wow.
So at that time we were 16,
Mhm.
probably 16 and a half or so. So that's where it started.
Wow.
16 and a half.
Yeah.
That is so cute.
Well, the strictness didn't really make that much of a difference because at your school, you said you weren't allowed to even hold hands, let alone hug or kiss or anything like that. And you guys got a number of verbal warnings for breaking some of those rules. And in your senior year, you were kissing. They said no more verbal warnings. They had enough of you two, and you both got kicked out of school.
That's right.
They suspended us and we were so mad that we didn't go back.
My goodness. So you start going to a local public school, private school life's over, the shelter life's over.
Mm.
And we'll get into that. That's just a prelude to some things we'll talk about in a little bit, Ruben. But
Mhm.
you were saying that once you were out of that private school bubble, some things changed. But now you're going to the local public school. And after you guys graduated from high school, you got married right away, correct?
Yes, we did.
Yes, pretty soon. Yeah.
42 years later.
February and close to February 16th. It was the weekend of Valentine's. So that was,
Oh, so happy anniversary.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
it was my brother-in-law was the minister of the Seventh-day Adventist. And so he married us and had a small kind of wedding, but our family is so big that it isn't really small.
Yeah.
So we had like 100 people, you know. Okay.
Wow.
So it was fast, and my mother said, "Yep, we'll do it." Okay. So that was, and it was the biggest storm
No, that's
that
right.
hit San Diego.
Really? Wow.
Yes. So through the storm, and I'm going, Lord, are you telling me something?
Mm.
Wow. 42 years later. Oh man, that's great. So as you're talking about your journey and this kind of voyage that you've been on, you mentioned a few things offline, but you said some things that you love about your marriage. What were those things that you said? Some of the things that you really love about your marriage?
Was it you or me that said that?
That we were that we love being funny. Is it
Yeah, I
before
think it was Marta that said, yeah, humor.
that was attracted to me and him? We loved our jokes. We were always joking around and making us laugh, and it was good laughter.
Mhm.
We loved.
What about
No,
you?
I think for me, she was the most beautiful girl at the academy,
Watch out now.
hands down,
Oh,
hands down. And there were many other friends of mine who wanted to go out with her. So it's kind of like oh yeah, well, I bet you I can. No, I bet you I can. So I didn't tell you this, but it was a bet.
Oh, thank you. Up to now.
It was a bet, and I won. I won the bet. Sorry, babe. Sorry, but it's was all worth it, man, you know. God orchestrated that too.
Oh, that's good.
So if any of those fellas out there are watching right now, sorry.
Truth
Yep.
is coming out.
Ruben won.
Yeah, I won.
That's funny.
Great.
Wow. I love that. I love that. So let me ask that. Okay, so 42 years you've been there, married, ups, downs, all those things. Now there are 4 kids. How many grandkids?
3.
3 grandkids. Okay, and so with all of this happening, how have you found, or especially now in the now, how do you balance family, work, spiritual life, your time with God, your hobbies? How do you balance all that today with your marriage, with your kids, with your grandkids? How does that work?
Well, for me, I think it's pretty easy because I don't work, so I'm retired.
Yeah.
So for me, the spirituality part is so important because if I don't surrender on a daily basis, it's not good for me. When you're alone, idle time is no good. You know, you got to replace that with something, because I know what happens to me when I start thinking, when the mind is. So that's how I start my day off, with God. And then what I do, as a good husband should, I clean the house.
Uh-oh.
I cook for her, Estes. I cook for her. I take out the trash, write it down.
Oh,
Right?
oh
She
boy.
gives me chores. She tells me what needs to be done.
But I am always complaining, so I'll always say,
I was just reading something in Proverbs. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I am. And it says, it's better for a man to live in the desert alone than to live with a nagging wife.
Yes, yes. Yes, every man should know that verse.
Right? Hey, Estes, you know what I'm talking about?
Listen, there's that verse that said it's better for a man to live in the desert alone than live with a nagging wife. And then later on, the verse comes back and it says, it's better to dwell in the corner of the roof of a house than to live with a nagging wife. He says it
They
twice.
didn't get it the first time.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's funny.
But guess what? You have to do it for the wife not to be nagging. You should listen to
I
it
guess.
at the first time.
I'll let
There you
I'll
go.
let you go with that one, I
It
guess.
was not good
Yeah,
for
so
me.
that's what I do, you know, and I just try to keep busy, and so
Sure.
it's fairly easy for me because I don't work, but
Well, I do.
sometimes I do wish that I did work, so I don't, you know, I'm not home alone. So I'm telling her, babe, why don't you retire? You know, so I don't have to be home alone. She says, are you kidding me? And be with you all day long? She's joking, right? She's just joking, but
No. No.
yeah, it's
No, it isn't. And it's not that. It's just balancing is always, you have to, in order to keep everything like running smooth, you have to balance God first and your family, making time with their family. And we do that a lot here at and then going to church is so important for us. You know, that's where we kind of meet. And then on Saturdays, we have our kind of social with the family.
my kids come over every Saturday.
So that's really, really important for us. And also how to balance other, you know, we used to be able to go on dates.
On Fridays.
Once a week. But now we're babysitting our little granddaughter on Fridays. So you know what? It's just making time and let it run its course.
Yeah, prioritizing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice. Newborn granddaughter, right?
Yes.
Well, she's now gonna,
Not 10
she's
months?
now 10 months.
10
The
months.
months go so fast. So we love our grandkids. You know, they're the best. And having our kids is number one for me, at least. I know for Ruben too.
Yeah, I'm ready for more. Josh, if you're listening.
Oh. Gosh, he's not married.
Don't get me in trouble with this.
Let's marry him.
Don't get me in trouble with this.
Oh my goodness.
But Josh, if you're listening.
Yeah, if you're listening, Josh.
We have Luke too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have to commend you because I do love seeing the balance. And you mentioned at church, and you know, for those people who are maybe watching and don't know you,
Mhm.
that's there in the beginning. You're setting up, you're, you know, putting out water and making coffee in the coffee,
Mhm.
just getting things. Then after, I see you cleaning up together. And then you have two sons that are pastors.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Josh is a pastor at one church, and then your older son is a pastor at another church, Ruben. And so you
Right.
guys now have to decide which church to go to. And I think you go back
Right. Take turns.
Back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take turns.
and like, wow, I mean, I can
And serve there.
for having balance, because having two
Mhm.
preachers in town at two churches, and you know, you guys definitely do a great job and a great example of that balance.
Yeah.
We do our best. Sometimes if I don't show up, they'll say, Dad, wasn't it your Saturday to come and listen to me? And I go, no, it was the other son. Right?
Well,
they're-
they say it's not, it doesn't
they
matter,
say it
but
doesn't bother them, but I know it does.
Oh.
I know it does. But we love them both. the
It
same.
isn't that they get bought, they love for us to be there.
Of course.
And support them. So we are doing our best to support both.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Mhm.
You almost have it as, sorry, I always have it as bad as the president when he watches like the Army Navy game. He has to sit on one half, and then at halftime he's got to
You're right.
sit together, like, you know.
You got to split them in half.
You got two preachers, so
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
We're blessed for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, speaking of that balance, are there any habits that you both have to keep yourselves connected with one another? Habits or anything that you do is kind of, I know you mentioned you make sure you go to church together and things.
Yeah.
Well, we did start praying, you know.
Yeah. We started.
We said, I think we need to connect and we need to start praying together. And then we said, when do we have time? Because I work 10-hour 4 days, and then I'm off on Fridays and the weekend. So I said, we need to do it, I guess, when I come home. That's when we need to start doing it. When I come home, we're getting ready to go to bed. we pray, taking turns, and that really has helped us to connect.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
And then before we pray, and then after you pray, I normally say, like, I love you, or thank you for sharing whatever she's got going on, because tomorrow's not promised. Yesterday's gone, and I want to say I love you, because what if something happens, and I didn't say I love you, so that's important to me as well. And I think prayer has really helped me kind of get out of myself, and then to think of her. Martha is the most unselfish person that I've ever met in my entire life. She always puts everybody first before her. Everybody. And sometimes a kid say, Mom, why don't you take care of yourself? But that's not her nature, and I want to learn that from her, and she's an example. But I mean, the most loving, caring, unselfish person that I've ever met in my entire life. And I'm blessed to have her as my wife.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. I could definitely see that. From what I know of you, Marta, I know you are very giving, so that's really nice.
thanks.
Yeah.
Those are some great habits. Keep it connected. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's transition and journey into some of the mountains and valleys of your relationship, and some of the highs and lows. And I just want to ask, has there ever been a time where you thought that you weren't going to make it, or maybe where you didn't make it? And has there been that time?
Yeah, many times. We got married really young, being 18, and so that was, we were growing up together. And for me, growing up, being Hispanic, everybody got married young. My mom got married at 15, so for me, that was like a Cinderella. You get married and everything's going to be good. You're going to live together and it's going to be so much fun, and that's not the case. It's not. You see the novelas.
Yes.
You think that's it, like, it's going to be that way, and nobody tells you, because, well, first of all, we were married so young too, but no one tells you how hard it's going to be. And so it was really hard, and really rough times that we actually did get separated one or twice.
Yeah.
In our marriage, but then we came back together, and it was always prayer for me. And I always thought that, to me, divorce was not ever the answer, and it was more like, whatever you go through, you're going to go through it, just because everybody just wants to get divorced if it doesn't work out, or I don't like you no more, or I'm not happy with you. So to me, that was not marriage for me. So I continued, and in prayer, and asking God to always help me. Maybe I didn't want to be with you at that time too, but I always said, I don't know why we're together still, but we are now. And I say, I guess God answered it that way, because I think Satan has always attacked our family, and I'm sure he has attacked everybody's family too, in divorce, and destroying the family. But I said he wasn't going to win.
That's great. I love that. And that's really, the commitment. That's where the commitment comes in to God, to each other. I like what you said, Martha, about I'm not happy, because that is so much what people say. It's like our cancel culture, I'm not happy. This doesn't work. Let's move on. Let's do something.
Right.
But you know what? Don't let Satan win. Like, keep it, don't give up. I think that's something that a lot of people could be blessed with, and just hearing that,
Wow, that was great. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. But as you know, that was just part one, and it actually gets a lot better. So come back for the conclusion of our interview with Ruben and Marta on Monday. See you soon.